Do you know why you'd better watch out? You better not cry and you better not pout?
I don't know, but I know you're going to tell me why.
Because Santa hates little bitches. That's why. Should we move on to Candace Owens and your rapidly disintegrating psychological well being?
Dude, man, when we started this podcast a few months ago, we definitely did not do the proper research into the proper lucrative podcasting world. In the sell your soul for money internet world, creating a moderate, honest, balanced, middle of the road podcast like we did is the worst podcasting format you can pick. But you got to be like die hard conservative conspiracy podcaster. That is where the money is. I never realized how much money until I started looking at Candace Owens and like watching her. I'm like, well, why does she do what she does, and how does?
Are you saying that we should sell out our souls and consciences? How much money do we need in order to? Because there's going to be a scale here, right? You're going to sell out. You're going to do shit that you don't want to do. You're going to have trouble sleeping at night. But at what point does the sheer volume of money you make compensate and get you back to sleep, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I've been doing the calculations. I'm still doing the math. It's a lot of significant calculus going on. There's a lot of like numbers I don't understand. A lot of like shapes involved. I don't know why there's shapes involved in these math equations, but that's what I'm doing right now to break it down to see what I'm willing to sell my soul for. According to Bloomberg experts, the top conservative podcasts get about $10,000 to $100,000 per ad read, and Candace usually does about two per read, and she's one of the top conservative podcasters with around like 5 million YouTube subscribers, getting around 2 million views an episode. So I'm going to say she's about 100,000 ad rate. So she's making about $200,000 an episode reading. And a lot of these are like conservative products that they're being sold, like very geared towards that audience.
What was the amount of money that came out during the Sandy Hook civil trials? So, I mean, how much money was Alex Jones pulling in per year? It was some like tens of millions because of his supplements.
Yeah, like and his like what is it? Your supply of food and stuff like that.
Oh my god, yeah, the survival bunker food and all that shit.
Yeah, didn't he like what was it, $1 billion settlement? But I'm sure they like worked that down to something else, and he's still going strong.
Yeah, it's hard to see the numbers because, you know, he had some sort of normal kind of income, right? Like on paper. But I think when you look at the body of work in terms of the supplement sales and all that other shit, like he was breaking in like hundreds of millions of dollars. And that's
Yeah.
why he had that $1 billion settlement. Yeah, because of Sandy Hook, because you made a ton of money and now you're going to pay that back because you did it off the suffering of these kids and their families.
So, but in contrast, so you got her probably getting 100,000, and maybe the very low end, the 10,000. But in comparison to the liberal side of the audience, which is like the Midas Touch, who also has like 5+ million subscribers, and the Bulwark, which has like almost 2 million, they only make a few $1,000s per ad. That is insane. We're talking about 10, 20 times more if you're peddling conservative stuff. And I watched and listened to her like more hours than I care to admit on her. And she's really good.
Okay.
I mean,
All I've ever know of her is that she's like token black conservative woman, right? So she dove into a niche,
yep.
and she says the most outlandish, stupidest, most easily disproven stuff on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And right, anyone with half a brain and a Google search can disprove anything she's saying. That's all I know about her, other than now she apparently firmly believes that Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, is trying to have French special forces execute her.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to back up here, right?
Of being a transvestite.
I'm pretty sure those are accusations that have been around for a couple of years at this point.
So she's very eloquent, but the reason that she does this is clearly the money is so good.
Mhm.
And it's a good business model because you don't have to do, even though she always will say, I'm not afraid to do the research. I'm not afraid to tell the truth. There's not much research going on or involved in her talks. But she's a great orator. She's great at speaking. But this is very much the Amway multi-level marketing type thing, where you don't make your money in multi-level marketing. You don't make it in selling products, but by selling the idea of profits to people who then become the sellers of the products and the business model. And Betsy DeVos at Amway is one of the biggest conservative financial supporters of her and a lot of other conservative people who make a ton of money in this industry.
Well, so I think you're touching on a very important thing, right? Which is so much like the Ben Shapiro's, the Nick Fuentes, right? The Charlie Kirks, all these Candace Owens, Andrew Tate, Alex Jones, right? They're all raking in major money. But to your point, it's not about the ad reads, right? They are running a grift on the back end. Like I know I can tell you, for instance, Andrew Tate, he doesn't make his money doing ad reads. He makes his money because one, he has a whole bunch of exploited women basically in a basement doing cam work for money. And those are where his girlfriends come from. And the other is Discord servers where he sells his whole manosphere shtick to stupid teenage boys who are just desperate to not have to get a real job, right? And kind of want to cheat code capitalism and the whole system. And that's where he makes his money from, right? It's all these grifts and scams on the back end, right? Alex Jones didn't make his money doing ad reads for InfoWars. He did it by selling supplements.
But that's the thing is like that's what they're really selling. But even before that, and that is the payout. That is the pay dirt eventually. I think it was vidIQ who like does research on social media and how much they make and what they make and things like that. That she makes about between $100,000 to $300,000 a month on YouTube from YouTube advertisements. More recently was the Charlie Kirk thing that really launched her into like the upper stratosphere, and that she was like, I want the truth about his murder, conspiracy. And so finally TPUSA was like, okay, we want to have this discussion with her. She's made a lot of money promoting all this disgraceful stuff about us and about what happened with Charlie Kirk. And she's like, so instead of addressing that, which, you know, somebody would do if you were accusing me of being gross and disgraceful, she instead accuses them instead of making million selling merchandise, which they did and which was pretty disgusting, but doesn't talk about the fact that what they said about her was actually true. So she overglosses that truth point and goes into her own thing, where two things can be true at the same time, but she's not going to address the other truth. And she does that a lot.
Yeah. That's pretty standard these days, though, right? Is ignore the piece that is inconvenient for you and attack the other one, right? Or attack the source of the other one that is true or is the one you really want to draw focus to.
And it almost makes it sound like, well, the people who watch must forget the first part of it because they're like, yeah, right, they did make a lot of money. That's true. Not, well, wait, they just accused her of making a lot of money. Wait, did she make a lot of money? It's like almost like that didn't exist. It was like besides the fact type thing. Because she's made hundreds of thousands of dollars on these videos about Charlie Kirk. And so the Macron family is suing her. They're suing her because she's accused Bridget, his wife, of being a man. And then I don't really even know. I have not been able to figure out why that's a big deal. Like, why was that something that attention needed to be brought to? Maybe it was like trying to make transgender, like continue that transgender hateful stuff so we could get more likes from that. I'm not really sure why. But she's apparently not a transvestite, or a transgender woman. And so she's suing them. And she said, we've sent her proof, but she's denying that they sent her proof. And Fortune made...
Wait, sorry. So the Macrons, Jesus, they sent proof to Candace Owens that
through lawyers,
Bridget Macron is biologically a woman?
Yes. Now, I don't know the extent of what they showed because clearly she's ignored some of that fact. I don't know what the proof really was or whatnot. This Fortune magazine that I was reading about this lawsuit, that the lawsuit could bankrupt her. And it goes on to talk about a lot of all these other metrics. She completely avoids the fact that this lawsuit has anything to do with anything that she said or done, but instead it's the elite's way of controlling her and controlling others by either you do what we say, or we will kill you, or we will defame you, or we will bankrupt you. Nothing to do with the fact that, like, you've been calling his wife a man for a really long period of time and all kinds of other rumors, and now you're saying that they're sending in people to kill you, wet work squads. They got the French Legion in the United States doing operations trying to kill you, that Charlie Kirk died for you. You're creating all this stuff, and you're wondering if they sue you over this, you could go bankrupt. It's like, it's in a brilliant way of doing things, but eventually you got to pay the piper, just like Alex Jones.
I mean, I guess so. You've touched on a lot of this right now. Is it's an attention economy, right? And this is the problem with social media and the
Yeah.
algorithms. It doesn't reward truth, balance, fairness, anything, right? It rewards attention seeking, which lends itself to the most outlandish behavior. And yeah, it doesn't matter who it is, right? If we really wanted to get attention out there, we would just start saying the dumbest shit imaginable,
Well,
right? We just
I'm
start putting
about to
conspiracy
right
theories
now.
up. Oh, go for it.
I want to say that I am wondering if Candace Owens, because there's, that saying, thou dost protest too much,
Hmm.
is really a man herself. She has a very strong jawline, and I demand and I ask for nude photos, hustler
Oh, God.
style nude photos as proof. I want photos to prove that she is a woman. And I think, according to her logic, I'm due those things. I'm due that. And I think that would help her greatly in her case with the Macron family.
I'm trying to decide what my knowledge is of revenge porn laws and if this qualifies.
I think it's only fair. Her logic dictates that I should be entitled to this. And you know what? And you know why? And this is the real reasoning, is because I think she's attractive. And it's making me question my sexuality if she was a man. And I think
So she owes that to you.
yes, I think she does. Her logic says to me that I deserve this information. I'm willing to prove that I'm a man, if necessary, for those photos. Fair enough.
This is not the direction I thought.
thought.
This is not the direction I thought any of this was going to go in when you said you were going down the Candace Owens rabbit hole to tell us what's happening here.
I think this is the logical conclusion to it. This is what works in podcasting. I think this is nothing I've said is not true. Maybe not. Who knows? I need proof. I need proof. That's all. That's how she runs her show. That's how she runs things. And I think maybe that
Well,
proof is on those Egyptian planes. I think that the proof of those photos might be on the Egyptian planes that I'm looking for.
Egyptian planes? What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, God. That's her other thing, is that there's been Egyptian planes following Erica Kirk for years, apparently. Well, because Erica Kirk worked in the Middle East and these things were there, but there was military planes that were in Utah during the time of Charlie Kirk's death, but left before he died. It's just random. I'm like, she's like, I want to know. And that's the person who's not going to know the answer. And then when they say, we can't tell you because we don't know, it's like, because you're covering it up.
The unfortunate side effect of our post-truth world. But you mentioned this before, right? These guys are operating on like an MLM type scheme, ultimately, to drive their money. Look, what happens at a certain point? There's only so many gullible people whom you can pull into these schemes and to profit off of them. Eventually, you've got to start eating each other, right? Eating each other's fan bases in order to continue to grift, to continue to build, and continue to go. I mean,
And
this
that's what
is
she's doing, because she left the Daily Wire and
yeah,
went
no,
on
it's
her way.
also like when Tucker Carlson left Fox News, right? Because he was just fully complicit in the Dominion lawsuit and kind of everything that was going on, right? The court records show that. And they've got to make a name for on their own. Same thing, Glenn Greenwald, when he left The Intercept, and others, like these people are who they are, but they kind of go out there and they put up the shittiest headlines, the most clickbaity stuff to get the attention. And because unfortunately, media is this ego-driven system. It's not about news and information. It's about sensationalism. It always has been. I'm
Give a
looking at
shit.
this Candace Owens thing. So she apparently on her podcast at some point over the summer said that I am fully prepared to take on this battle on behalf of the entire world.
You know what? It's
Oh
they
man. I mean,
go
speaking
for
of
like
ego,
well, I'll tell you, the lawsuit is based on just one of the many facts of her videos that she pronounces. This just happened to be someone of specifics, and now they're suing her. But the videos that she makes are all the same conspiracy type videos that get
okay,
attention. She's a great storyteller when it comes to these conspiracies. And these are things that you cannot factually prove usually or disprove.
okay,
But in her case, pointing specifically to an individual who technically can prove her sexuality. And I'm guessing in her mind, she thought the president wife of France would not waste her time on that. And when she talks about it sometimes, she's like, I cannot believe this is like, must be the first time a sitting president of another country is suing an American citizen for free speech. I So that's her like fallback now because I don't think this was what she thought was going to happen. The Charlie Kirk murder is just for her is she could just paint it very broadly. It's like I don't believe that guy who assassinated him was the man. I think there was others involved. She doesn't trust the feds. There's, French Foreign Legion. Well, what group who's going to sue her? I think she, realized that and has pivoted since. But, what she's done, the damage is done and it's too late when it comes to Macron. You fuck up in these worlds, you just got to keep digging no matter what. And I don't know how she's going to get out of this one.
So this whole started with two women. I'm not going to name them because fuck them. They shared unverified rumors about Brigitte Macron's gender in a 4-hour long YouTube video, and then it went viral ahead of the presidential election in 2022, and they were both found guilty of slander.
Yeah, and Owens picked this up. I think I almost forgot what year we were in. Like about almost 2 years ago, like in 2024, probably early 2024. Like she picked it up after the fact and ran with it because she probably was like, "Ooh, a conspiracy theory that kind of died."
Ooh, a conspiracy theory where the people who made the accusations were found guilty of slander. Gee,
Yeah,
that seems like one I should jump on as a media person.
yes, because their speech is being silent. That's the point. That's her whole thing is you cannot silence my free speech. And apparently free speech is say whatever the fuck you want, regardless if it's true or not, with no intention of defending yourself. And it seems to work.
The legal team for the Macrons said, I'd like to thank her for that reaction to the lawsuit. She is only helping us with our claim for punitive damages by expressing no remorse and doubling down on these falsehoods. Amazing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. The truth is irrelevant to her.
Well, yeah, that's a given, which is incredible. Would you say she gets 5 million views or 5 million followers or whatever?
Well, she has like $5 million, but she gets about 1 million to 2 million views per episode. So she's making probably 200K per episode.
Yeah, 1 to 2 million views for these are the woods people, right? These are the people who go off the grid. This is your insane uncle peddling stupid conspiracy theories. But now they've got this mainstream outlet that is just all over all of your digital channels at this point to get access to this directly. And by the way, if you're willing to go on camera and spout the bullshit yourself, you can profit immensely from it. It's an insane world, right? I remember someone, I forget the guy's name, said years ago, right? One of the best things about social media is that it's democratizing the flow of information, right? It's no longer gate kept by the editorial staff and boards of the New York Times and the Washington Post and all these sorts of groups. And that's true, right? We've had this moment where we no longer have to sit behind the approved narrative when we're out there. We're talking about things, we're sharing ideas and whatnot. But it's gone to this point where sensationalism and quantity overwhelm truth and quality in terms of the content creation and distribution and availability. And That's how we're in this post-truth world at this point, right? We see it with these boat strikes and everything. You know, you just everyone's lying through their teeth about the situation, passing a buck, and it's not any different than what's happened. It's just faster and more in your face than it ever was. But there was at least this paying homage to being professional and to
Hmm.
not being a kook about all this stuff. And now it's like, no, be a kook. That's profitable. That makes you money. You and I, Adam, I think we should be kooks.
I'm already half kook,
You are a
so
half kook. That's why
why
you're in
not
your
go
survival
full
bunker.
kook? But you're right, and I think it's technology has changed a lot of that because you had the news channels when we were younger, and they just told the news, and then CNN with the 24 hours, and you had to maintain 24 hours of news where there was very little news to talk about. So you had to have opinions. And then it just kind of steamrolled from there, where the truth and facts don't sell. Because if I tell you a fact, it's over, it's done. You don't need to come back for more. I have to come up with another fact. That's a lot of work. Well, why not just come up with something that there is no truth to, or we don't know, or we're not allowed to know? So let's keep going. Is the truth that important if you're making this kind of money? And that's really what's important to you. This much
Yeah, I mean,
money.
look, we're not going back to a Walter Cronkite reads the news and all Americans. That's the only version that they get, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's long in the past, and that wasn't necessarily good either. The
Right.
way that worked, right? I mean, we were all sorts of fucked up stuff, Vietnam and everything else that was going on during that time frame. You got to wonder, like, is the pendulum going to swing back at some point? Is there going to be a pushback against this? And as long as everything is advertiser driven and attention driven,
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it changing, right? What do you do? Do you legislate against social media platforms in terms of pushing advertising? It doesn't work, right? As long as the advertising model drives the revenue,
Mm-hmm.
that it's always going to be about attention and getting in front of people and getting those eyeballs, getting those sales down the line. It's a capitalism problem more than anything. It's
Oh,
just
and
fundamental.
Americans just need to want more. I understand it, like, like people who would watch soap operas, you'd have, or the male version of wrestling. It's kind of like a guilty pleasure. It's a soap opera you're watching. You know it's not real.
Mhm.
What they're doing and for wrestling, what they're doing in the ring is real. They're actually acting this out in a way that could really hurt each other, and people have been seriously injured doing it. But the whole thing is song and dance, and that has its place. It's enjoyable. You want to watch that sometimes,
Yeah, it's
but
kayfabe. We've talked about this,
but
and it's
truth
the whole
and
performance.
facts have to be take precedent. There's a time and place for
Do
everything.
they? Do they?
I think
And
they
in the world
require
we're living in, apparently they don't.
exactly. They don't, but I think we need to return to that. Otherwise, that it's never none of that shit's gonna ever happen. We just need some form of epic disaster to occur from all these falsehoods and conspiracies to return people to more of like a truth based outlet until the money changes. I don't know, or the
Yeah,
people
I mean,
change.
if the money,
One of
if
those has to change first. The money has to change, or the people have to change.
the money's that good, why would you not lie for a living, right? Why would you not peddle in bullshit? Like, why would you get a regular day job? All I'm hearing, Adam, at this point is that the problem with society is that it's filled with people. This is what Douglas Adams was saying when he wrote, "In the beginning, the universe was created," and right, it's been a very bad idea. I'm butchering the quote, right? But
Was a
it's
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
yes, exactly.
Yeah. Uh, I know, but I don't want to believe the alternative is to eliminate most of them. There just has to be a better way.
Oh, are we not going to become the genocide podcast? Is that not going to be our angle here?
We're gonna change our name. We're the Genocide Podcast. We're going full.
We're gonna go full Thanos, right? We're gonna throw it back to the Marvel movies. We're going for the snap, right? We just half of everyone just buy.
You know something?
Let's do it. I think the new format going forward. Adam, we'll have to come up with a good name for this. The Freedom Cast or something stupid.
Heil freedom.
Oh God.
If you're gonna go full, you gotta go full. If you don't get it's a joke yet, I don't know how to help you.
This episode of the Heilcast brought to you by Hugo Boss, Volkswagen, and Bayer Pharmaceuticals.
Oh God, that would be sweet.
I think that's as good a note to finish up on. Everyone, as we go into this Christmas season, don't go full fascist. Do not listen to anything Adam says. But we'll see you here next week in order to start Adam's world takeover.
Please be good until then.
All right. Catch you all later.
Au revoir.